Welcome to the Texas Gulf Coast. I've lived here, taught here, virtually my entire life. Everyone, every building, and every street corner here has a story, and I've set out to find them. I'm Professor John Britt of Lee College, and this is the history in your own backyard. It was the summer of 1966 when Lee College Dean Walter Rundell called me into his office to discuss a new program the college was initiating in the Texas Department of Corrections. He then asked me if I would like to teach an American history class there in the fall. I was, needless to say, stunned. Teach history in a prison? To convicts? I was a young teacher with only 2 years tenure at Lee College and still on probation. I knew what Dean Rundell was saying. I was going to teach in the prison in the fall. My father, an executive with a natural gas transmission company, was even less impressed. "Boy," he said, "I did not help you go to college so you could teach criminals." That fall, 5 of us drove to Huntsville on a Saturday. Dale Adams, who taught English, would teach at Goree, at the time the women's unit. I, along with Don Perry, whose discipline was math, was assigned to Ferguson. Phil Dignam, English, and math teacher Bob Steele would teach at Ellis, a unit for hardcore recidivists. However, before we were to be dropped off at our respective units, we were to go to the Walls unit in Huntsville, where we were to meet with the legendary director of the Texas Department of Corrections, Dr. George Beto, as well as Alonzo Langley, TDC Director of Educational Services, and the warden. There is a wonderful photo of the 5 of us in the warden's office at the Walls. I often joke that we looked like a group of Baptist preachers. After a short visit, we left for our respective assignments. We dropped Adams off at Goree. Steele then took Perry and me to Ferguson, as he and Dignam proceeded to Ellis.
Going a little nicety about who did what first. I guess I taught the first class because they let me off at Goree, and then it was 30 minutes to the next unit and 30 minutes to the next unit and so forth.
Come on, girls, get on the job. We've got a lot to do today.
Being a fan of movies, and I was teaching at the women's unit, I thought I was going to go in and see Ida Lupino and all of the women in prison cliches that I had seen.
Since you've all decided not to work or to eat, we'll just have to send you back to your cells until you're hungry enough to change your minds.
Well, there was no Ida Lupino in there, and it wasn't anything like that at all.
Entering the prison, I was taken to my classroom, introduced, and then left alone with some 24 young men in prison white. As I somewhat nervously explained the course, I have no doubt that my voice cracked. Little did I realize that I was beginning 20 years of the most rewarding and exciting experiences of my teaching career. Over the next 2 decades, I drove once, sometimes twice a week, to the Huntsville area prisons. Ferguson, the Walls, Ellis 1, Eastham. I not only taught American history, but Texas history, world history, geography, and on one occasion, marriage and the family, a sociology course. From the beginning, we insisted that our inmate students meet the same standards as our free world students. Our students were an eclectic group and consisted of every felony imagined. We treated them with the same respect as we treated our students on campus, and expected to be treated with respect as well. After a few years, we began to witness the positive fruits of our labor. Inmates who received their associate degrees when released became productive citizens, often obtaining a bachelor's and on occasion advanced graduate degrees. In the meantime, I suggested to my father that he accompany me to visit one of my American history classes at Eastham. Dad, still skeptical of my prison assignment, somewhat reluctantly agreed. This was in the summer. The classes were 4 hours long and there was no air conditioning. From the start, my dad was impressed with the respectful demeanor of my inmate students and their apparent enthusiasm and desire to learn under less than ideal circumstances. During the breaks, he visited with some of the students, and by the time we left the unit late that afternoon, he was a convert. Dad was active in the Baytown Chamber of Commerce and subsequently gave a speech to the chamber endorsing the importance of the college experience in a prison and its role in reducing recidivism. time passed and I continued to teach in the Huntsville prisons for 20 years. Along the way, I encountered some of the most fascinating individuals that I have ever met. Although I stopped teaching there in 1986, the work at the Lee College Huntsville Center continues. In 2014, there were 88 graduates from the program, and over 800 students are expected to enroll for the current fall semester. And that's the point, really, making a positive difference in the least likely of places, all from a school behind the razor wire.